Levite las manos. That's right, rockers and Mercuryans. I know magic. I'm a witch, or was a witch. This video, I'm here to tell you guys why you should not go towards the path of witchcraft and how dangerous it can be, not only for yourself, but your family, your your people around you, your community, all those types of things. I want to talk to you about the dangers of witchcraft. It's in a world that seems so demonic a lot of times. So, as somebody who has practiced in the past for lots of years, I thought that I have a unique voice in this discussion. So, first off, I have been seeing the obsession with witchcraft and um, sorcery since like the days of like Harry Potter days. Like people have been obsessed thinking that they can get a twig off a tree and start flicking it and be like, oh, that's abracadabra and all that kind of stuff. And you know, unlocking the spirit world and all those kind of things. I've been seeing that since then and before then. There's always been an obsession with magic, an obsession with things that are so-called supernatural. And I thought it would be a good time to just come on here and kind of debunk some of that, while also leading you away from some of the very dark practices that are currently being, because people aren't really doing them as much, but they're approaching them, they're courting these very disturbing practices. So I thought I would come on here and just let you guys know that it's not the way. That's not the way, and that's not how it goes, and how dangerous, and how like sometimes lethally dangerous witchcraft can be in your life. So first of all, I know a lot of people want to know the question of, is witchcraft real? Absolutely real. We wouldn't be talking about it, we wouldn't be obsessed with it if it wasn't real. You know, most people wouldn't be going towards it and have such an obsession with, you know, what they can change in this world. And that's really where it comes to, like, the excitement of witchcraft comes from being able to shift what already is into what you want it to be, and to, like, you know, to mold the world that you want. And in a way that sounds kind of innocent, it sounds like, oh, magical, like, yes, I can look into the future, and, you know, or manipulate the world as it is into the picture that I would like it to be, you know, to manifesting. And I think that that is a very dangerous mindset, because it takes you away from being thankful and present in the moment that you're in. It takes you away from the gratitude. It takes you away, and it takes you into your ego, and makes you feel as if you can just kind of take a crap on what God or the universe or whatever the ultimate being already has planned. And that's something that I think is a very dangerous mindset. Now, another thing, not everybody can do, not everyone has access to that type of supernatural power. A lot of people don't have access, and it makes people mad that they don't. And so they'll do anything to get that access. I just happen to be from New Orleans, like my family's from New Orleans. We have a lot of blood that's mixed within that supernatural realm, and it's a bloodline situation. So not every bloodline is going to have access to some of the ancient practices that I'm discussing today. And I'm not going to even go into details about how you do magic and how you become a sorcerer or a wizard or whatever, which I'm not going to go into that, because I don't want you to go towards that. I want you to go away from this. I want to kind of warn you about some of the damaging things that witchcraft has done in my own life and the people around me. In one way, I wouldn't be here in front of you guys if it wasn't for witchcraft and sorcery and me practicing in that practice. Literally, I wouldn't be alive. I wouldn't be here in Houston where I am now. I wouldn't have the certain family I have around me. There's a lot of things I wouldn't have. But as of lately, as of the last few years, I have been separating from that practice so that I can be in the present moment and enjoy what is, instead of trying to consistently alter or not even just trying to, actually consistently altering my reality around me. And it's deeper than just like a manifestation and having like a page and like, oh, I manifest this in my journal, and oh, I wish upon a star and all that kind of thing. Like, it's not giving that. Like, I'm talking about tapping into deeper, darker ancestral spirits that actually intervene in reality for you and with you, at times. Um, the thing about that concept of altering what already is that people don't realize that there's a recoil. Like when you shoot a gun, you may point a gun at something, you shoot at it. If anybody really shot one before, you shoot, pop, pop. You always know there's a recoil. Where yeah, you're shooting far that way, but you're also feeling that force backwards as well. It's a two-way kind of situation. And so when you're doing this witchcraft and you're going towards those realms, it's easy for somebody to get reckless and create to try to do a spell so powerful that will create a recoil that they were not ready for in return. And that's happened to me multiple times. And at those times when it was happening to me, I felt as though I already wasn't having a very big value for my life or even the life of others. To be honest, at that time, I felt just more spiritually devoid over time, over having done these practices and being attacked in return for every spell I've done. Every spell I've done with intention has worked. I can't think of one spell that has not actually come to fruition. And you may think like, well, why have you done a money spell? Because you broke right now. And yes, I do. That is something that I would love to have my money up right now. But thankfully, I'm so grateful I didn't do a money spell because what I could have lost could be priceless. Not would be priceless if I was to do some of the wealth spells that I was interested in doing at one point. And this is what I've experienced alone already when it comes to different types of love spells, different types of shifting of the minds, and universal attraction spells that I've done in the past have attacked me so bad, have destroyed and tore up my life in so many ways that I am just so grateful to have stopped when I did, because it could have gotten so much worse. I could have lost people who are here with me now. I could have lost more of my soul. I felt like every time I did one of these spells, my soul partitioned in some way. I know some of y'all want to know, like, how did I even get involved in this? Like, it's something that I've known since I was very young, but I was reassured once I was in, I guess it would be high school, but also middle school as well, where I was actually friends with a family of witches who their whole family was open about their practice of witchcraft. My family, like, I was practicing it, but it wasn't something that I could openly do because I knew it, I felt it internally. It wasn't something that I had to be taught. I knew since I was a kid, what kind of, like, how this practice worked. I knew, I felt it, and I was already practicing these spells that I had no business doing, but I knew it, like almost like a past life kind of situation. I hate using that reference of a past life because it's very unattainable for a lot of people who are in this current life. It's like, how do we reconcile what a past life would be if you haven't experienced that, or if you have no memory of that type of experience? But it's almost like it is as though I came into this existence, this plane of existence, with that knowledge already set, already ready. But I wasn't confident enough to utilize it in more, I would say, selfish ways until I was in high school with a witching squad. I would name her right now because I do know her name, but it's like, that's something that, it's a witch. She's a witch and her family's witches. Who knows how powerful she is now? I don't want her effing up my stuff. I don't want her to feel exposed. Who knows if she even wants to be out there like that? And I don't mess with the witches like that, but she was a real one. Her mother was a real one. Her grandmother was a real one as well. Most of the women in her family were witches. The men were kind of observant. I find that a lot of times there's not as many male sorcerers or witches as there are females. There's way more female witches, even in society. Like, we're in a world right now where our Hollywood is full of witches. I see them everywhere. I worked in Hollywood for over 10 years, but it's so full of witchcraft, and people call it Satanism, but I guess that's kind of the realm it is. But there's so many witches and dark spirits in Hollywood, from the Beyoncés to the Kardashians to the in a way later on in the Jackson, not the beginning, but maybe later on, especially the mother and father Jacksons. There's so many more, like especially the top elite, the main witches, Marina Abramovich, or however you say her name. There's so many people who are the most successful in the field of marketing and the public field that are witches who are casting spells through their music, through their designs, whether it be their fashion, their artwork, their TV show, their like whatever they're putting out there. Like it's that is the main space for a witch to thrive and survive in, is within these entertainment realms. And so it's something that I wanted to discuss because I know that as so many witches are involved and they want to be more accepted, and so they kind of place different types of hints towards the practice of witchcraft to get people more enticed and have more of an excitement about it instead of a fear. And I think that's very dangerous. And this is something that you should continue having a fear of, because it can really rip your life. And even those people I named, a lot of their whole lives have been ripped up and torn to shreds. But they look all cute from the outside. That's how witches love to do. Witches love to look great on the outside, with complete chaos happening right behind the shell, right behind it. And I've lived that, and in some ways I kind of live that now. Like I'm doing my best to reform a lot of my soul, to regather my soul from the different spaces where I left pieces of it. I'm doing my best to gather it back to form, as close as I can to my original being. It's kind of impossible. It's like a shattered glass. You're not gonna get every single shard, but I'm doing my best to bring as much as I can together. Because in this realm, when you're practicing what I've practiced and what a lot of these witches, these high witches practice, you leave your body, your host body, susceptible to be hijacked by dark spirits. And it's not as if they always take over the completeness of you. It's not like the movies of exorcism where you're just like, oh my God, I'm just taking over, like I'm not here. Mercury's not home right now. Like it's not giving that, but in a way it kind of is giving that in compartmentalized ways. Like there's ways that you can lose sections of your actual authentic soul that you were born into this earth with, and end up bringing in parts of the other realm. So you can have multiple different pieces of these other souls, these darker souls. Sometimes they're not always dark. Not every spirit is dark, but there's ways that they can basically rent out, because we're all renting it. So let's be real. Once we enter the earth, we're already renting our vessel. We're not going to be here forever. This vessel's not going to last forever. It's going like a shell, like a what do you call it? A hermit crab shell. Like it's going to shed its shell and keep moving, or a snake is going to shed its skin. That's going to be the reality. But while we're here in this shell, like there is ways to compartmentalize our bodies, our temples, and rent out sections to these other beings. And people have done that. People have been possessed. People have been overcome by certain spirits when they're doing a certain activity. Certain triggers will bring out some of these spirits, and you've seen them. That doesn't always mean that these people are within witchcraft. It may mean that they're just very weak. They have like a weakness, and weak isn't a negative thing. They may have a weakness that they're experiencing that allows them to be a perfect victim for one of these spirits to just move into. Some people walk around with a glass not full, or not even half full, but not full, or 3/4 of the way full. It depends on their situation, but like it's something that we have to recognize that this is a real situation, and we can deny it. We can be like, oh, I don't know if I believe it. I don't know, but it's happening every day. It's happening around you every day, and you can see it in people. There's sometimes where I've seen like people who are in relationships who they've been married for so long, years and years, but at a certain point something happens and their partner travels somewhere or goes into a spiritual service or some kind of situation that allows the spirit to possess part of them, and they feel like they don't know that person anymore at certain times, but then they also do recognize them at certain times too. When the person they know is there, but even then they're not all the way there. They're not all the way there, and they'll tell these stories of losing their partner in that way, feeling like they married a stranger. They married that person was in that host body, but that person may have been, given away parts of themselves. And so now their soul is in the other realm, and here this other, being is what's in a culmination of the person and love, and the spirits from the other realm that have entered your partner's body or your loved one's body. It's a very dark experience. Some of these spirits are very parasitic, and so they actually can't destroy that, and they just want chaos and they want to destroy you. They think it's funny to see the people who this person loves in pain. Like there's some spirits who really want that. The same way there's like serial killers and stuff out there, and like people who are, you know, very like criminals who are in jail right now. Like there's certain people who just want that chaos. Some of the criminals who are in jail have these spirits within them, and that's what caused their life to go where it went. You know, they may have went to the wrong practice. May have met the wrong person. Some of these witches are so powerful that they can just disorient your life with one glance, one look at you. You can get sucked out, like they can suck out a section of your soul and replace it with what they want, you know, or bring in themselves or something, another spirit that they have following along with them. So it's very dangerous. It's not something that I feel like people should practice. I feel like it's something you should be aware of to protect yourself, protect your spirit. Even if you're atheist, even if you're whatever religion you are and you don't believe this, I don't believe, like it's real, and it's better to protect yourself than to be in a space where you are susceptible to have your life destroyed and your family um, discombobulated, to be honest. So when it comes to like the books that are out there, there's so many books. Most of the books aren't real. Most of the books that you see in the witchcraft books and stuff, I've seen so many of them that people like buy, and they think that they're gonna learn some spells and say it properly, and there was some candlelight and a Ouija board or whatever the heck. It's not like that. Like you have to. It's some ancient stuff we're talking about. I mean, there really aren't many books, and I do know some books, but I'm not going to tell you all the books because I don't want y'all. I don't want y'all to practice this. I'd rather you stay away from all of it, you know, because even some of the books that aren't real, that aren't like a really accurate or helpful when it comes to that guide of learning or practicing witchcraft. Let me check my camera. Even some of those, even some of those types of spell books can let the spirit world know that you are on that journey, and it leaves you open because you have to open your spirit up to even be able to connect with the other realms. So it can kind of give a heads up warning that, oh, we have a weak one here, we have one that's being led astray, you know, let's go towards this being, and let's see if we can get any real estate within their temple. And it's that deep, it's that serious. Some people, if you ever been around somebody who's been possessed, or if you've ever really seen a real person who's been possessed, then you're kind of understanding that this stuff is nothing to be played with. And what I did mine for, like I've done mine for relationships, I've done relationship spells, I've done moving, like relocation spells, I've done career spells in my life, like I've done spells for other people, especially a lot of very well known people who would ask me or hire me, summon me, whatever they would call it, to conjure up these spells for them. Those are the hardest ones because I don't have any skin in the game when it comes to those. So I have, but and I can do something too powerful. Like it's like if you're asking me to do a spell for you, and I don't know how important certain things are within your life, me doing that spell, I could, like, you know, almost like you're cooking. If you're cooking, I could put too much salt in there. I could put too much seasoning. I could put too much spice, and it can distort the whole balance of the situation depending on what you actually care about in your life. So it's very scary. Like that's why I don't do that anymore. And when I was doing it, I was in a very dark place to do that. But it's when you are practicing for somebody else, and if you are hiring somebody to act on your behalf, like I always hear people saying like, oh, I can't stand this person, I'm gonna get a witch doctor to take care of them, I'm gonna get a voodoo doctor to take care of them. That's a very dangerous situation because you have to know what you're willing to sacrifice for that spell to work. And if somebody else is doing it for you, then they're picking whatever you're going to sacrifice, so they may not care. And you're just going to find out. You're just going to find out what they decided to sacrifice from yours. It can't be from theirs because they don't care. It's not their spell. This is your spell. They're doing it on your behalf. And also that person, like me, if I'm doing it, I'm always going to get a kickback as well. I'm always going to get a spiritual kickback that's going to attack and disrupt my life. So it's like, why am I doing this? Like, there's not enough money in the world to practice it and take that risk. And the crazy part is you can't even really charge what you want to charge a lot of times for that because people are not sure if it's going to fully work. They're not really sure, you know. And so you're in this space where you have to charge a certain amount that the person's going to agree to, while also taking on a certain amount of risk and responsibility spiritually that can actually destroy you. It's not worth any price. So it's a very rough thing, and I'm so happy to be away from that, away from Los Angeles, away from that Hollywood environment. But I do see a lot of people as time goes and as the media just continues to guide us towards the acceptance of these dark energies, that people are going towards this. Like, these books are selling even more. People want to figure out a different way outside of their realities. You know, they're falling into these practices that can actually destroy their life and their family's life. You can accidentally sacrifice your mother, your grandparent. You can sacrifice your cousin. You can accidentally do that by practicing a spell the wrong way. And I mean the wrong way, meaning unconsciously. Because these spells aren't like, oh, I didn't say it exactly. I did not say, this word exactly the right way. So, oh my gosh, like, that messed everything up. No, it's not like that. It's an intentional situation. This is deeper. This is some deep-rooted, dark energies you're playing with. And they know what you mean. It doesn't matter if you misspell something, missay something. That's why I see a lot of these fake witches out there, these fake people who are telling the future and things like that. Like, the future can't be told in that type of way. You can see a pattern of where it's going to go. You can see the options. There's options that can happen towards the future, but it's like not like it's never really an exact line. There's certain visions that may come to you, but it's not like that's a tough one, because there are certain visions that will come to you that are really real, that are going to happen. But it's not like you can just decide that you want to know about this exact thing and have the exact clarity of what is going to happen in this realm, in this exact path. Like, there's going to be a multitude of paths that can create different options depending on what the person does. Because if it was a direct path towards whatever that future that somebody's asking for, that particular path would mean that you don't have any free will. In a lot of religions, we still feel like we have free will, and without free will, what's the point of life? So there is a certain aspect of free will that blocks the ability for an supernatural being like myself, or like other witches in the realms, like the witches who practice, or like I used to be. I don't do this anymore. I literally stopped practicing completely. After what stopped me was a certain it was a moment that I had where I was taking some fungi, I'll say, in the chocolate, and I was with a very special person, a very powerful witch that a lot of people know. I'm not going to say her name on here, but I was with this very, very powerful witch, and I had an experience, and supernatural experience, that shook me to my core, and I promised myself that I would stop practicing after this experience. It was the most life-shattering, after somebody who's been practicing for 30 years at that point. It was something that was the things I saw within this person who I knew very well at this point, but the things I saw in her eyes, the visions I had around this person and in this room that we were in, it woke me up. It woke me up to the dangers of what I'm playing with, and me getting caught up in the brand of what a witch is or what a sorcerer is, and feeling powerful for being able to do it, and having the bloodline to have the access to these practices and these spirits. I got lost in it. And at that moment I woke up to it, and I realized that if I went further, everything I have known could have been destroyed, and I could have completely lost every piece of my soul, to the place where I wouldn't even be able to find a remnants. I would be just a completely different spirit realm in this vessel. And honestly, that's what happened in that moment. Like, there were spirits that were trying to hijack my body, and I fought to keep my body, to keep this temple, the parts that I had here. And I will be honest, not every part of me is my original pieces. Like, there are other souls that are within me through my practices. There are other souls. I have to be real about that. I'll be honest. But for the most part, I do have enough of myself within me to recognize myself. But that doesn't mean that I haven't lost a lot of myself already. Quite a bit. I won't say percentage-wise. I could, but that's very depressing to even think about, and I don't want that to be the case. I would like to rediscover and reattract my the different pieces of me that I did sell in order to get to where I am right now and to the space I'm in. So Um, all of this to say, I feel like some people out there be like, oh wow, that's so exciting, like I want to go risk my soul too. I want to. It sounds well crazy, like that this is real, and wow, ooga booga, abracadabra, all that crap. This is really a warning. That's why I haven't gone into details about what books and what spells and how to practice. Like I'm not here for that. I'm here to tell you, go the other way. Go to the present moment. Be here in the moment. Let life unfold as it does. See the beauty of life. There's already a designer. There's no need for you to add your design to it in that type of way. Enjoy the experience. Add on to the life that already is. Like you don't need to adjust the path that is already written and already laid in front of us. Enjoy the movie. It's like, who goes to a movie theater or to see a movie or a show just to write the show while they're there, to rewrite the show or rewrite the movie while they're there? That doesn't make any sense for you to do that. Like, we're in an experience. This life is an experience. Don't waste your time trying to alter and control. It's all about control. People, we just want to control so badly. Like I've gotten so close. Before I quit, I was gonna do a really big, powerful money spell that could have risked my whole family's life. And, like my whole family lives here due to oh god, that's hard. That's a hard one. As to say, the spells I've done have already affected my family. Thankfully, in certain positive ways, but there's the spells I've done have literally relocated people, really literally created different experiences in their brain, how their brains are functioning. Like I've done spells that I should not have been practicing, but I wanted things to be a certain way because of what I felt they should be. And I regret it, and it's not easy to go back or even possible at times to reverse it. It is what it is. It is what I've done. Like I have to live with those choices I made when it comes to my spell work. So I'm just wanting to warn you guys, just step away from it. I'm never touching witchcraft again. I know people always ask me, I get DMs all the time, and calls, phone calls, DMs, emails about, if people trying to get me to do more spells for their life. They know what I do works. They know they've seen it. People have seen it. People have experienced it. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I do not want any part of this anymore. I'm done. I told myself after that experience that it's a never again situation for me. So I hope that you heed this warning. I know some of y'all still will go down that road, and I'm telling you, protect yourself. Like, you're worth more than risking that. Like, enjoy the beauty of life as it is. There's so much beauty to it already. There's so much beauty. Like, this world doesn't need two designers. There's already a designer. Like, as soon as you add your design in, you're gonna get pushback, and it's gonna be more than you could ever imagine paying. If you knew the pushback for each spell, if you knew it ahead of time, you wouldn't do the spells. I knew them, but I didn't care at the time. I was so disoriented. I was just so disconjuncted. Like I was what is the word? I was just discombobulated, like I said earlier. Like I just was not in the space to care. I was hurting so much that I was just, nothing else could hurt. Like I just wanted to feel at that point. And so what a reckless way to be able to feel through witchcraft. Like I really regret it. And I know some people will say, well, isn't that good witchcraft? Isn't that great? Ways that are healing and stuff like that. And that's a tough one. There is, in a way, like, and not every spell I did was like a negative spell. It wasn't like, oh, let me attack. It wasn't always an attack. There was a lot of things that are good for people, for my family. But with every spell, even if you have good intentions, there's going to be a pushback. There's going to be a recoil. And the recoil is never worth the spell. I've never done a spell where the recoil was technically worth it. Have I accepted it over time? Yes, I've accepted the recoil and lived on. I'm not going to be a victim of the recoil of the spell that I cast. I'm not going to be a victim of that. But it was never worth it in the bigger picture. I should have just always let it be. I should have always just been here in the present moment. That's what would have been more powerful than these spells, than getting wound up in the spirits of these spells, And once certain of the spirits that live within me now have been here so long, they can't be evicted. They can't be evicted. I don't even know where certain parts of me are anymore. I'm hoping to re-attract them back over time, but then I would have to practice again to even go and search for them. Like, I'd rather be in the moment. I've kind of accepted that I'm compartmentalized and I have certain other spirits within me now. But like, because I don't want to go back into that realm. I don't want to go search for them. I don't want to go search for that. If that spirit ever comes to me, I would gratefully I don't know, I don't have any more space, but if I could kick something out of one of these older spirits in me and kick them out and bring that other piece of me back in a moment I would, if that's available. Maybe some of these spirits will recognize that older self and feel bad for what they did, and maybe they'll release themselves and allow me to have that older piece of myself back internally. But I'm not going to go search for it. I'm not going to do more spells, more witchcraft, just to like try to fix a problem that should never have happened in the first place, and that was caused by that practice. So that's what I'm gonna say on that. Like, this is a tough conversation for some people. Some people don't care. Some people are like, what the heck? Like, they're scared. Some people are holding on to their cross right now. Be afraid. Be afraid of this. Like, this is not something to play with. I really wish I knew better. I wish I cared more about myself at the beginning to not have practices at all. Just because I have access because of my bloodline doesn't mean that I should have been doing it. You know, it was wrong of me and I regret it. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys and hope that somebody will heed and take warning to this. This isn't a challenge for you to go find more and for you to practice more. Some of you guys will never be able to do it. Some of you guys don't have the bloodline for it. It will not happen. You're wasting your time. You're going to lead yourself astray. You're just going to end up becoming a vessel for somebody who can do it. If you end up being able to do it, you're going to end up like having some other spirit who can practice go into your body, your host body, and create havoc, because they're going to use your body mixed with their actual bloodline or their actual spiritual connection, like links, their spiritual links to create havoc. And maybe part of you may still be within the body when that happens, but you're just going to be a witness to pure chaos in your life. You're not even going to know who you are when you look in the mirror. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. So heed my warning. I hope you guys understand the seriousness of this situation. Please stay away from the dangers of witchcraft and sorcery. It's not worth it. I will never practice again. And I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you for watching this video. Please send this to somebody who you know is dabbling in this practice as well, or these practices, because there is multiple types of practices when it comes to this realm, but it all connects to the same thing. So rock on, Mercury, and I'll see you guys on my next live stream, my next video. Bye. Thank you so much for your support.